Welcome back to the Sober Web, my friends. I am Clark, your host and the creator. Today, we're going to talk about 3 benefits of quitting alcohol that may seem impossible, and some people might say they are. I don't believe so, and I want you to know more about them so you can find out for yourself. Be sure to watch the entire thing because I believe all 3 benefits are equally important, but the third one, while it might be a little bit out there, is pretty amazing if you open yourself up to the possibilities of what sobriety truly can offer you, because regardless of what other people believe, you get to decide for yourself what works for you, what makes sense, and how you can use it all on your sober journey. But before we get into anything, hit the like button if you're sober, leave your sober date in the comments so I can hit the like button in return to support and celebrate you, and then hit the subscribe button and the bell for more content like this. Now, let's talk about those benefits of quitting alcohol that I think are possible, even if they might sound impossible. All right, tip number 1. This actually might be one of the golden benefits of quitting alcohol. Could you imagine a life that is free of the anxiety and the stress that is associated with alcohol or even just addiction? Not having to worry about the money that you spent on it or that you threw away in essence. Not having to worry about when you're gonna get your next drink or your next fix, when you're gonna be able to take a load off. Not having to worry and feel guilt and shame around what happened the night before because of a blackout, or even just the overall sense of hopelessness and feeling like you're misunderstood and no one gets you, because that's just the way alcohol and using it to cope out can make us feel. Hit the like button if you understand any of that. Wouldn't it be amazing to be free of that? And that's one of the amazing benefits of quitting alcohol, is that in time, with work, you can be free of the desire to drink. I like to call it the thirst because that's kind of what it is. Your cravings kind of kick in, maybe some strong feelings come up, some fear, some trauma, some pain, some conflict, and you want to kind of give into it to like numb it all out or silence the voices that are associated with those events. But you can be rid of the thirst, but you got to do the work. You've got to do some soul work, some shadow work. You have to begin to understand why you have an addiction in the first place, where it comes from, what it means, what it represents. But if you're willing to do this work and go further than just putting down a bottle or just walking away from an addiction, you can actually be free of those cravings, of the thirst, of the desire to use. And my friends, I promise you, it is one of the biggest reliefs that comes with quitting alcohol, and I really want you to find it. But first, you've got to give yourself a chance by giving quitting alcohol a chance. The second benefit of quitting alcohol is the ability and the chance to start over. I mean, what if we could just wipe the slate clean? Not necessarily go back to square one, but just start a new square in our life. We get to change our mentality, change how we live life, change how we approach life, just start it all over. And I know there's a lot of things in the past that maybe we have to deal with, maybe we have to make amends, or maybe we have to release some guilt and shame around bad choices that we made in the throes of our addiction or with alcohol. We get to forgive ourselves, we get to surrender to what the past was so that we can have today as a fresh start to a new way of life. I heard the use of life as an acronym in a conference, and it meant learn, implement, fail, evaluate. And although I don't like the word fail, I think it's a really nice acronym, play on words that can be used for sobriety and the sober journey, because ultimately that's what sobriety is. We're learning a new way of life. We implement it, we might fail, or it might not go so well the first time, so we evaluate and then we try it all over again. And then there is an aspect of this benefit where we quite literally get to start over, because sometimes in sobriety, everything must change. And by no means am I giving any kind of relationship advice or marriage advice, but we have to be open to the fact that sobriety requires change and sometimes forces change. And if you have the freedom to start all over in a new place, it can be a huge relief just to start a new life. But if you have a family and you have children, you also get to start a new way of living for them and for yourself. And so really it's a powerful benefit because it gives you, obviously, like I already said, the ability to start all over, and that can be just priceless within itself. So let me know what you think about that benefit. Hit the like button if you like the sounds of starting over by quitting alcohol. And finally, the third benefit of quitting alcohol might seem impossible, but might very well be possible. Just go with me on this. I want you to open yourself up to the world of possibilities when I talk about this one. What if you could change the future and undo generational trauma and addiction by quitting alcohol? Now, I touched on the topic of alcoholism, if it was genetic or not, in this video right here. And it's a bit of a hot topic because some people believe addiction is genetic, it's environmental, whereas I kind of feel that it's kind of a mix of everything. And there are books like It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wolin, where he touches on epigenetics, and specifically that we can undo parts of our DNA that were impacted by trauma, pain, some type of suffering in the past that leads us towards our addiction and our struggles with emotions and feelings and stress and anxiety. And then there's things like neuroplasticity, where our brain can actually rewire itself so that we start approaching life in a different way. And ultimately, I will defer to the book, It Didn't Start With You, and other books and experts on these topics more, but I believe that there is some truth to that. While addiction and alcoholism might be genetic, perhaps it's more of a spiritual genetic imprint, a emotional, traumatic imprint on our DNA that happened a long time ago that was passed on one generation to the next. And no one in your family, my family perhaps, has done anything about it. But finally, someone comes along like myself or like you that says enough is enough. I'm not doing addiction anymore. I'm not going to struggle with alcohol anymore. I want to break the strain of toxicity in this family once and for all, so my children or somebody else in my life doesn't have to struggle with it anymore. And I don't know about you guys, but that sounds pretty amazing to me, and that's honestly why I started my sober journey. Based on the work that I've done and the research that I've done, and even the stories I've heard from other people, I believe it's totally possible to undo the trauma and the pain that was imprinted on our DNA a long time ago, that was passed on eventually to your parents, that was then passed on to us. Let me know your thoughts on this topic, whether you agree or disagree. Hit the like, hit the dislike, but ultimately, I think it's one of the most powerful benefits of quitting alcohol ever. So there you have it, 3 benefits of quitting alcohol. These are definitely a lot deeper than maybe what most people talk about, and I know that they probably seem impossible, but they are totally possible. And not just because I've done it, but because there is research and there are books and there are other people that have experienced all these benefits by, first and foremost, quitting an addiction that was holding them back, by understanding where the addiction came from, why the addiction manifests in the way that it does, and why someone struggled with it for so long. There's so many books in the description below that will help you with all of this stuff, that can help you on your sober journey, and I really hope that you check them out. Hit the like button if you found this video valuable today. I hope that you leave a comment with your thoughts so we can have a conversation about all of these benefits. And of course, I really hope that you subscribe and hit the bell for more content like this. Until I see you next time or in the next video, get sober, stay sober, just do the best you can each and every day, and you will achieve all of these benefits and more, my friends. Much love, much life. I'm Clark with the Sober Webb. See you real soon. Bye.